Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be reacting to
Which country will join Eurovision's 70th ESC 2026? It's almost that time of year. I believe in September you can start sending submissions, right? So what, couple more days, and also Kids Eurovision supposed to be soon too.
Hello there folks, welcome back to ESC Adam, and in today's video we're going to be talking about the possibility of which country may join Eurovision for its 70th anniversary in Vienna next year. Before we get into it, make sure to leave a like on the video, subscribe to us as well, we've got more content coming during the off season, and then of course into Eurovision 2026 when it ramps up next year. So the reason why we're discussing this, that next year is going to be the 70th edition of the contest, an anniversary year, and in the past few major anniversaries there's always been sort of a thing of new countries joining, not necessarily by design, but it has been a thing. For example, the 50th contest that took place in 2005, you had Bulgaria and Moldova join. You could argue that was more to do with the fact that semi-finals were introduced and, you know, the old relegation system was gone and more countries just wanted to join as opposed to it being like a special invitation. But then in 2015, when the last contest was held in Vienna, it was the 60th anniversary and a particular country was invited to take part, and that country was Australia. Now, why was that the case? Australia is an associate member of the European Broadcasting Union, the EBU. They've been broadcasting Eurovision for more than 3 decades at that point. It has a big fan base there, so a special invitation was sent, and they have taken part every year ever since. So with the 70th anniversary coming up in Vienna, there's a lot of talk that could something similar happen. So what we're going to do is take a look at a few different countries and nations that will they potentially join, or
We briefly talked about this, I think, in May in one of the videos, but I think since, the conversation kind of picked up again as we're getting into the Eurovision season, I think the EBU might be listening and they might be, because they're seeing people excited about this, they might be introducing someone.
yeah, but what would be the reason for them to be allowed entry? Because you see, Australia had to, be a part of the
Well, there's a bunch of
for their
European
years.
countries that are part of the.
Oh, European. I thought it was. This is the one where it possibly the states can be included.
Well,
No,
possibly, yeah, sure. I mean, are we part of the
what
broadcasting network?
part?
NBC Peacock is broadcasting, so we technically are, aren't we? I don't know. I don't know exactly how that works, but I mean, I'd love for the states to be there, but
That'd be really cool.
I don't think that's gonna happen. But I do think that would be very cool for the states to be there. But
is it a bit of a pipe dream? One of them I keep seeing a lot of Brits say is we need to divide up the United Kingdom and send the home nations individually. So that'd be England, Scotland, Wales, and
I wouldn't oppose that. They do that in football. There's England, there's Scotland, there's Wales. They don't compete as United Kingdom.
And what's that country? Belgium? Will they send like the French
Oh,
side versus the other side? And then next you know,
I don't think so. No. What is that?
then Cyprus is gonna send the Greek
Wallonia
side.
and something with F,
Yeah,
Flanders or something.
yeah, yeah. Next
Northern
you know,
Ireland.
in
Now,
like
in
for
this, my biggest
example,
advocate.
in countries like maybe Germany, they have like multiple languages, right?
Bavaria, no, only German. Switzerland has multiple languages.
Mm.
No, so in Germany they send Bavaria.
Mm-mm-mm-mm.
No, but this is different. This is regions of the country. These are actually separate kind of countries. Because as I said, like in football, in soccer, they participate as England, as
I
Wales,
just
as
think it's
Scotland.
interesting. UK when it wants to be whole and wants to be separate. It's like make up your mind, pick an identity.
Advocate would be for Wales. I'm half Welsh myself, and it is the land of the song. We have some great talent from Wales and the art of singing and songwriting. There's a lot of history there, and I really think we could make a big impact. However, this isn't likely to happen anytime soon. Now, some people might say, but Wales have competed in Eurovision. It was the junior Eurovision they competed in back in 2018 and 2019. So if it's possible for them to do it there,
As
why
Wales.
not for the main contest? I might do a proper video about it, but the simple reason is down to rights, basically. The BBC has the rights to represent the United Kingdom at Eurovision. Represent the United Kingdom, all nations together. You can't have the United Kingdom and then Wales separately, because technically Wales is within the United Kingdom,
I
which the
see.
BBC holds the rights for. If the BBC was to relinquish the rights to broadcast on the United Kingdom as a whole, then you could have a situation where other broadcasters in the UK may rally together to represent a certain home nation. Like S4C, for example, could represent Wales. But the BBC, for one, have renewed their deal until I think it's
How
like
did they do that
2028,
in
and it's
soccer?
just not likely to happen anytime.
I think in soccer, football is it's not about the rights. It's like here Eurovision is basically because they collect the money from the TV, from the votes. In sports, it's not about that. It's just about which TV station has the rights to broadcast. That's it. There's no like collecting payments for votes and anything like that. So I think that's why it, that's why it is like that.
Time soon, certainly for the main contest. As much as I'd love to see Wales and get a bit of, heritage pride in there, I don't think it's likely, unfortunately. A Welsh artist
Also, I think for UK it doesn't make sense to kind of split because they already don't send good entries. Let's just be honest here. Like they're kind of flopping in terms of Eurovision. Like considering how big UK music is in the world, and we just did like the biggest acts of 2020 is the biggest selling acts. Is like a shitload of UK people in there.
To me, it would just be like 3 more votes that they can come together.
Sure, yeah, 3 more votes, and like I would say the case where you want to split is the country is such an overwhelming favorite. Like every year, top 3 every single year. So like maybe Sweden, maybe Italy. Those countries you can say, okay, like they're really like they're just too good, so let's give this somebody else a chance, so they get 2 entries basically, 2 for 1, because there's so many good artists, so many good songs. Let them 2. The UK don't even send out good songs, so why they need three bad songs to submit? First, if UK wanna split into 3, get a good song year after year for 5-6 years consecutively, get the good songs in, and then when you start dominating the contest, people might like, let's split UK up so they can get, then maybe one year is England good song, next is Wales, next year is Scotland good song, something like that. I think to me making sense, splitting up would make sense if it's an overwhelming favorite year to year, and that we had Ukraine, we have to do something about it, but UK hasn't been favored since the 80s.
The UK, though, that's happened a few times. Maybe we need to send another Welshie into the mix. Another country that's long talked about and is often memed about is the United States. Sort of like Australia,
Yes.
The United States is not in Europe, and people use that as a stick to bash them with. It really more depends on if you're in the European broadcasting area and also your EBU member status. The United States is an associate member of the EBU, just as Australia is, and they have several different broadcasters that are associate members. Any of them could potentially pick up the mantle if they got a special invitation to take part. The US has also been broadcasting Eurovision for a long time, like Australia. So with those factors in mind, and the fact that a lot of the culture mixes with some of the Western European countries in there, why not bring the US into the fold? I just don't think there's much interest in the US for them to do that. They did try a few years ago, the American Song Contest, wasn't it?
I think there is interest. I mean, at the end of the day, it boils down to money. I do think bringing America.
Interest based on what?
I think people don't know about Eurovision here in the States, so it's
If
like.
they hear a competition,
But if they hear a competition that America is competing, especially if they start running ads, guess what? They're pulling up, and you win by voting. Guess what? Pulling up. Well, you can't vote for your own country, I guess. Never mind. But yeah, I think they would. I think it would be popular. I would. For me, it's not even a matter of like, oh, would people watch? I think people would watch. It's a matter of like, who do we send?
Yeah.
Like that's really like, who do we send? Because ain't no big stars going. Like ain't no, like Lady Gaga, Beyonce, Taylor Swift going. That's just not prestigious enough. Like it's kind of because it's one of those cases how they said in Greece. Like if you flop, it's like very embarrassing to your career. And if you win, it's like, what do you really win? So it's like it has to be up and coming. To me, I felt like when we, based on our reactions, Chloe Bailey, I think when she did that once, like Disney like kind of song that we reacted,
Would be good to submit Teddy Swims.
so the whole crowd would lose control. Maybe.
That I think only lasted for one edition. But I think whilst they're happy to broadcast it, I think the desire to actually take part is very minimal. Although very interestingly, they are reportedly going to take part in the Intervision Song Contest, which is being organised and held in Russia. This is another video in itself entirely, but essentially Russia is doing its own Eurovision.
The Chevy Equinox is more than an SUV. It's your cool down.
You have arrived.
Your surprise for mom. And your
God knows.
So this Intervision, I asked Discord about because somebody in the comments said, "Oh, react to Intervision." I saw it was like Russia-backed concert, so they ain't reacting to that. But the States is participating in that shit. Oh, what now? I'm confused. I guess it's that Trump connect, huh?
I think if they were to make an agreement in the war, then we could react. But you know.
Okay, yeah, sure. If the war ends by the time this commences, maybe we'll react. But right now, it's no.
Knows why, and among the reported list of participants is the United States, which would be quite a shock, to be honest with you. And I think if that did come to fruition,
So
its
who they
chances
send?
of being invited to Eurovision may be a little bit slimmer. Another nation I think we should talk about is Kazakhstan. Now, this country has probably been the most prolific in terms of people suggesting that this might happen, and there's a few reasons for that. For one, similar to Wales, Kazakhstan has taken part in Eurovision before, albeit the junior edition. It took part for a few years, so it has some history in actually being a part of the Eurovision scene, as you will. And also, in July this year, the chairman of the board of directors of the Kabar agency stated that at the EBU General Assembly that happened in July, he proposed that the EBU Director General, Noel Curran, invite Kazakhstan to the contest, and that Curran had assured him that the issue would be discussed at the next EBU meeting. This is quite a big step, having the head.
So Kazakhs show they want to come. So that's the important thing. You want the people that want to join. Okay. Is Dimash Kazakh? Or no, I don't remember. I think he's Kazakh, you know?
I thought he was.
Or Uzbeki.
Kazakhstan.
I think he's from Kazakhstan. Ooh, send in Dimash.
Head of the Kazakhstan, this
You read that
agency
shit up.
basically have direct talks with the big boss of the EBU about an invitation and it even being considered. And considering that for the last major anniversary, the 60th, Australia, an associate member, just like Kazakhstan is, were invited to take part, then what's to stop them doing that for them for the 70th? There's a few factors in this, similar to, well, reportedly the United States. Kazakhstan is due to take part in the Intervision Song Contest. And I think it's all but confirmed because if you go on the Intervision website, the profile is already there. They're going to be represented by Yanar Sadirbayev. I've probably pronounced that wrong. Apologies.
Yeah,
Who apparently is quite the big deal over there. You know, he was a finalist in The Voice. Over there, he's received awards, international competitions.
I don't see why participating in Intervision would disqualify them from Eurovision. These are not like why does that matter?
I guess where you stand.
But this is like ex-Soviet state. Like they're kind of, you know, for them to participate in there. I don't, and also
Especially if they don't have much opportunities elsewhere.
that's my point. It's not like Eurovision allowed them to participate and they just don't. They didn't have an option. So yeah, if Eurovision acted quicker before the Intervision came back to life and allowed Kazakhstan to come in, maybe they wouldn't go. But now they want to do something, and Eurovision is kind of I don't
think they
know.
shouldn't go this way about it.
Who, Eurovision? That if you participate there, you can join us. Yeah, I don't like that either. That would be petty. Like, if you do want country to join or not, accept them. The next year they probably won't participate in Intervision. They just go straight to Eurovision, or let them participate in both. Why do you care? Like, why does it matter?
I thought it was not political.
Because there is a vision in the title that
suspicious.
means, it's this competing with each other. No, one is Eurovision, the other is
Can that happen? Like,
Intervision.
for
I don't know.
example, if an athlete cross over and participate in some competition that everyone is deeming, we will not be participating or boycotting, do they get like negative effects to them, to their career?
It's hard to say. Like, I don't know, like any
I've never seen
context
that.
like
I've
that.
never
But
seen that.
let's say in tennis. There's a Moscow Open, and some athletes. I don't know if there is. I'm just talking out my ass right now. If there's Moscow Open or like St. Petersburg Open, whatever, and they go participate, some athletes go participate there. I don't think all of the sudden they cannot compete in Wimbledon. I don't really see why that would
What
matter.
if that's their home country?
Especially that I don't know. I think if they were to choose not to allow Kazakhstan for that reason, that to me that's very childish.
In places like Germany, Czechia, Russia, Belarus. He sings all kinds of different styles, so he seems like quite an accomplished artist. But again, with everything going on with Russia at the minute in the wider world, the EBU is very much trying to keep their distance away from that. And I think the fact that Kazakhstan are taking part might put a little blemish, but then again, Serbia are also taking part, and they've been able to compete in Eurovision, no problem. I think there's also people talking about...
So Serbia is also participating in that Intervision, and they're... Okay, yeah, then this argument does not make sense.
Kazakhstan under the Russian sphere of influence, and if we admit them to Eurovision as well next year, are we basically giving Russia a gateway in via Kazakhstan to spread that influence? You could argue that till the cows come home, but I think out of the three countries we've mentioned so far, Kazakhstan may have the most realistic chance.
Yeah,
of the
I
three of
agree. It
getting
does
an
look like
invitation.
Kazakhstan
The fact
might
alone
get
that
it.
the EBU Director General is aware of this and
Only
apparently it's being
one can get an
considered.
invitation.
And I think just as a draw from like a business and marketing perspective, for such a big anniversary anniversary like the 70th, what better way to try and push that than, hey, we've got a brand new country taking part? Of course, there's all the list of the
Yeah,
countries.
and let's be real, Kazakhstan is a pretty big country too. It was a lot of money, would bring in a lot of votes. I don't see why not.
Who have competed in Eurovision before and just haven't done so for the last few years. Like, obviously, it'd be great to see Moldova back, North Macedonia, Bulgaria, Hungary, all of those countries that for one reason or another have
Monaco,
dipped down. To see some of them
Morocco.
back in would be great. But I think the push of a brand new entrant, a brand newcomer to Eurovision is always going to do well. It did really well for Australia and has done them in good stead. And even, unlike then, we're not even saying they have to take part every year, even if it's just a one-off. And I think Kazakhstan may have some sort of chance at this. I don't think at the moment, at the time of recording this, I don't think it's the biggest chance in the world. But the fact it's going to be considered at the next General Assembly that the EBU are having, I think that says something in itself.
I
And
agree.
ladies, if you
I think
ever
the fact that they want to
the
be
short
in
fact.
and
Wait, is
the
that the new
EBU
Samsung
said
Dance
we
Easy
will
Flip
talk
7?
about it, I think that's
The other
matters.
option as well about debuting countries that people have raised is just go through the associate members list of the EBU and pick one. You've got countries like Brazil, like Canada, China, places like Japan as well. You know, big countries, New Zealand,
But these are
South
just random
Korea, a
countries.
lot of nations with a lot of different musical talent that could have their chance to shine on the Eurovision stage. And it's not just the associate members, there are also full members of the EBU that in theory get the invitation to participate that just don't. You have countries, for example, like Algeria, who are full members of the EBU. There's Egypt as well, Jordan, and among some of the others in those Middle Eastern countries. Now, some of them in the past have not taken part for various political reasons. For example, due to the participation of Israel, there are certain Middle East countries that don't take part, and I don't see that changing anytime soon. And even if Israel don't take part in 2026, because there's some discussion that that might not happen, again, something for the next General Assembly. But if they're not allowed to take part, I don't see these Middle Eastern countries rushing to fill that gap. I'd be very surprised if that happened. But overall, with it being the 70th anniversary, at the time of recording this, near the end of August 2025, we have 20 countries that have listed their intention to participate. Now, we had 37 nations at the last Eurovision in Basel. It'd be great if we can hit that number again. If we get 36 or lower, then we have officially reached the lowest amount of participants since 2004, when it first hit 36 as semi-finals were introduced. I'm always a great believer of the more countries in Eurovision, the better. Yes, it extends the runtime, but I think in terms of like the songs we get and the culture that gets put on display, the more
runtime is
countries that
already
get
long.
the chance to do that just benefits the contest as a whole. There's obviously various factors
I
in it.
think no, I don't think it extends the runtime because you just extends the runtime of semi-final, but the final would be the same. Just more people get cut in the semi-final. So semi-final sure extend by like what 5 minutes. It's not the end of the world. Stop inviting the people from the big five to perform because that's annoying. You kind of spoil the performance. They perform for no reason. Why you need that?
Including a new country, as I've mentioned. Wales can't for like the rights reasons. The United States, I just don't think the interest is there. Kazakhstan might if it gets approved by the EBU, but it could be another country entirely. But I do think in this discussion of who's next to join Eurovision, I do think it's within the EBU's interest to bag a new country, particularly as it's the 70th anniversary of the contest, or the 70th edition. But let me know what you think in the comments down below. Which country?
Yeah, interesting video. So it seems like Kazakhstan is the most likely, but
Wow.
I would most like the States to be. It would be very, very interesting. It's just like
I need a wild card.
it's like who do we send? Like I don't. Benson Boone, so he can do a flip on the stage.
Can I see the comments? Maybe some people can have the recommendations.
It's certainly looking increasingly like that Kazakhstan will be invited to debut at the 70th contest in
What
Vienna.
about Canada?
They're at least partially in Eastern Europe, and they have done so. Right, so geographically, part of Kazakhstan is considered in Europe, which is hard for me to believe, but it is. So yeah, we've seen that. I think Canada deserves to debut. They've been an honor European forever. I wouldn't mind Canada. Canada has a lot of talent as well. As a Canadian, I would love to see Canada one day. Yeah, I think Canada would be a good pick too. I definitely would love to see Canada there too. Canada, States. Like, honestly, it's just the more countries, the merrier. I feel like it would be more interesting to. Not except, but especially if they do send good songs. If they start sending trash, yeah. If they start sending trash, then like who cares? Might as well go home. But if they start sending good music, because I have no reason to believe that, States, Canada, or even Kazakhstan would send bad music. I think, Kazakhstan would might be a little gateway from Russian artists to get in, but Russian artists are good.
Yeah.
Russian artists are good, so it would be good
But
music.
we already have like gateway Russian artists entering into the Eurovision via other countries.
You could, yeah, they could. So, yeah, America has good artists, Canada has good artists, so it would be all of these three countries would be very good.
Guys, of course, let us know your thoughts. Rate, like, comment, and subscribe. Join the Discord. Always, share as much kindness as possible.